Otis, what's good, bro?
Nothing, man. She was just I'm down here hanging out at Pismo Beach and everything for my girl's birthday. So everything else is all gravy.
Shit, dude, looks nice where you are.
It's all right, you know.
Oh,
Got
nice.
a little overcast right now.
So you on vacay right now?
Yeah, just for like about another day or so.
Nice, man. Well, I really appreciate you taking a little vacation time to chop it up with me, bro. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's always time for boxing.
Well, dude, I was gonna just fucking jump right in because I saw the comment you did on my post the other day talking about Pacquiao, and there was two fights recently that I wanted to know your take on, and it was a couple of over 40s, and obviously Pacquiao's one of them, but the other one is Rigondeaux and Casemiro. I don't know if you got a chance to see that fight.
Yeah, I did. It. Those kind of fights. Like I remember getting a draw early in my career. Fighting an African guy, wild African guy named Moses Matavu. And from my aspect, from the pure boxing, like I just boxed his ears off. I hit him, ran around, like made a joke out of him. He was doing all this, like acting like a gorilla type stuff, and trying to get at me. And what it is, it comes down to sometimes you get judges that don't want to see a paint job. They don't want to. They want to see you mix it up. Like you got to after that. After that, when I'm on my way into the ring, I always bow to all the judges. I look at the judges, and I mean, you can't tell a book by its cover ever. But when I see those older judges that look like they were around when the 1970s or 80s when the light heavyweight was really cooking, I'd be like, oh, you know what, man. These guys aren't going to let me get away with just a little boxing exposition or anything. They want to see some blood. So, I got to draw with Moses Matabu because of that. And later on, I had to revenge the draw in an 8-round. And that time, at Cache Creek, it was war. So yeah, but I think that's what happened to Rigondeaux. Definitely, that's what happened to him.
Because this is what I found really curious about that fight, right? How many times do you see a guy get a decision where you can't remember him landing a clean shot upstairs? Like not one time. I can't remember Casemiro landing clean on him one time. Now, I'm not saying that Rigondeaux was so active and did this, but it's like the 2 or 3 good ones that he would land every round, that was enough because the other guy is not bringing anything offensively. So, and obviously there's like a part of me that is frustrated that Rigo is not more active in a fight like that. But at the same time, you almost have to expect that, or you know what I mean, to a certain extent, based on how the style has always been. And I think if you're really judging that fight objectively, it's like hard to see how you could ever give that decision to Casemiro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, from the layman's eyesight, outside looking in, there's no way that you can give it to him. But what people fail to realize, there's other ways that you can judge boxing. It's punches thrown, punches landed, ring generalship. We all know that Rigondeaux has that. But then also effective aggression and stuff. So a lot of times with these older judges, like I'm saying, if you are, almost looking like a rodeo clown out there, like just like making a bull run into the ropes and everything, but you're not taking advantage after he runs in, you're not blending him up. Like it doesn't matter if you don't have power or not. You should be, firing like a couple beautiful combinations and making him pay for missing. And I think sometimes Rigondeaux gets into that art where he loves making people look so stupid that he forgets to punch. You know what I'm saying? So.
And I think it's like it's almost like a head game with him, like where he's like, how long can you care about this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like how long can you give a shit about this? Because I'm gonna make you miss about 40, 50 times clean, and I'm gonna see if you still even want to be here. And for the most part, I don't think people do. I don't think Casemiro. To me, I was just so surprised at how unprepared he was. You know what I'm saying? Like, against that guy, I don't know how you're gonna pull up to that fight and be surprised that he's on the back foot for an hour. Like he could do that for 25 rounds if he needed to.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people they they have a fight plan, and the fight plan is like, oh, I'm younger than him. I'm gonna bring it to him. I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna trap him on the ropes and just fire. I'm not gonna sit here and pose with him and all that stuff. But then they forget what is he gonna be doing while you're trying to do that. And it's hard to corner that guy. He's a dictionary of boxing, man. He's an encyclopedia of boxing. Really, it's just like he knows things to do in the ring that you may be like 60 years old before you figure it out.
I think what I found weird about it is I get all what you're saying about how like super technical guys can have a hard time getting decisions because you're not taking advantage of some of the openings. But I got to be honest, I've watched a couple of Floyd fights that look like that. I've watched a couple of B-Hop fights that look like that. Like, what do you think it is like that some guys like at a certain point for Floyd, the politics of boxing, and he would beat guys clean, but I'm saying like even in a close decision, there's no way that he's not going to get the nod. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think is like how do you cross over with that style?
You got to have prestige. There's got to be prestige. I think people after a while start giving Floyd the benefit of the doubt that, like because of the way he's talking that, you have to attach yourself like as a fan, you know what I'm saying? He's talking about what he's going to do. He's not, even if you are that old judge that thinks like, oh, I want to see him go to war, I want to see blood. He let you know on HBO 24/7, hey, I'm going to box this dude's ears off for like 3 weeks. So you're already prepared for it, so it's prestige. Like he's already in the media and everything. Rigo has negative prestige. Like the judges already know, like you said, he's going to be on the back foot. He's going to do the rodeo clown thing. And I don't necessarily like it. I wish he would stop fighting. He's been all these Olympics. He's been fighting for all this. It's time to get this guy out of here. We're not going to let him rob some youngster again, Now, right. But if he was on top of the game like Floyd or B-Hop, like with B-Hop, people start attaching this up to like the Marvel thing. Like, oh, he's old and he's still fighting this guy like this, Oh, he's still doing push-ups after the round and stuff like that. So it's just prestige.
But I don't even think Rigondeaux got credit for, like, if you hate that everything about how he fought that fight, just like the fact that his legs and his speed are exactly the same at 40 whatever as they've been. Like, I feel like that got no appreciation at all during the commentary.
Well, it didn't, you know what I'm saying? But again, and I love Riggs. I think that he's, like I said, a boxing encyclopedia. But I'm a little bit of the old school where I feel like if you have clowned somebody for 8 rounds and you're in a 10-round fight, then blend them for 2 rounds. Even if you don't got the power to hurt them, like put gloves on them, like make them want to quit, for those 2 rounds. And it's crazy because if he would do that, a lot of people would probably bow out, because I'm gonna tell you, thank God it's never happened to me, but it would sicken me more to get clowned like how Rigondeaux clowns people, like, rodeo clown, I can't lay a glove on you, than if a guy just literally like went Gotti Ward or Marvin Hagler on me and just made me cough up blood like in the 5 Deadly Venoms or something. Like, I would rather do that than have someone do a paint job on me and have to like look at that on the replays or everything for throughout the rest of the time.
Right, because at least if you're in a shootout, it's like, all right, one of us is going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but with Rigondeaux, I forgot someone did an interview about Floyd, but I think it applies to him too, where it's like you're in there and you're so ready to touch something, and then that's not what you're doing. It's like you're barely even sparring. You get out of the round and you're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
What was the last 3 minutes? Did anybody hit anybody? And then you're just like questioning who you are at that point. I don't know. I get the frustration with him because I feel the frustration, but I think it's unfortunate that he hasn't gotten his flowers a little more. Yeah,
definitely.
With the level of skill that he operates.
He might be like what's the Nikolai? You know this guy. You watched him before. The old guy in the black and white era, Nikolai, the
Argentinian guy.
Yeah. So that guy didn't get his flowers.
Nicolino Loche, dude.
Yeah, Loche. Yeah. that guy didn't get his flowers until like 15, 20 years after he was gone. Like when people like with the modern era start really noting like, oh man, his defense is great. But when he was doing all that, they were booing him out of stadiums and throwing stuff at him.
Right. And when you watch him back now, he straight up looks like he's from the future.
Oh yeah.
Like nobody else was really fighting. I don't even remember seeing that much Philly shell like that before him. I know guys did it before him, but it wasn't like he would just straight up roll around the ring like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he was clowning people for real, man. That dude, man, the upper body movement and the angles and the step over, like we call it stepping off the track, but like man, he was like seriously clowning people.
So what do you think about his future, Rigondeaux? Do you think there's still a future in boxing for him, or do you think that like the powers that be have decided that it is what it is?
I think by now the powers that be have decided that, any given Saturday, Friday night, we can take a decision from him, and after they do that, if they do that one more time like that, then he's just going to be a guy that gets put on young guys' ledger. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he deserves that. I would rather see him go to more like the Casamayor route and just become like a great trainer in Vegas or a liaison to the Cubans that come over,
I'm not, it's hard to even say because I think it is special for somebody that age to be that sharp and that he's still got basically, I mean, I'm sure he's got taken a step back, but he's got basically everything he's ever got. It would be, I think, a shame if he retired with that much, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I get what you're saying, where it does kind of seem like it's been decided,
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Another thing that I didn't touch on that I should also, and a lot of people don't think about also, is that the weight class that he's in. The weight classes that he's in, be it from, going from 126 all the way up to 118 or whatever where he was. What was the last fight at?
I think he fought this last one at 118.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, and people demand action in those weight classes. There's not a lot of power. So they want to see, like, literally they want to see like a kung fu fight, dude. Like,
right.
Nothing but strikes and blows being thrown. So now when you slow it down with that kind of pace, now if he was like a middleweight or light heavyweight like Bernard Hopkins or something, then people might give him a pass or even a welterweight, like if he can control action and fight when he wanted to. But when you're in an all action, like a firefight division like that, I think those judges really are just like, like you said, they're just like, look, okay, it's time for this guy to go.
People want Estrada and Chocolatito. They want, Carbajal and Gonzalez. They want the high volume, high action because naturally people don't like the smaller fighters as much. So they're expecting that the pace is going to make up for, the lack of size.
Exactly.
And Rigondeaux doesn't give them any of that.
Yeah. And then those guys, because of their action and because of their size and the way that their body accumulates the violence in boxing and everything, their careers don't last very long.
Right.
And here you got Rigondeaux. His career is this dude might still be fighting when he's 50.
Right.
Who's to say that he's not already 50? With the Cuban birth certificates, you don't know if that's even his real name. So yeah.
Yeah, he's an enigma, man. He's a very interesting fighter. I think the exact opposite of him, kind of in a lot of ways, is Manny Pacquiao, who also fought a week and a half ago. Maybe his last fight, maybe not. What did you think of that fight, and what did you think of his performance and Ugas' performance?
I've been seeing a lot of people leave comments and stuff like, it wasn't fair that Manny got the fight on short notice and I was on some other podcast where they were talking about the one of the lead hosts of the podcast was going, I don't understand how that's fair. And we actually had Tommy Brooks on, one of my old trainers, and Tommy was like, look, this is boxing. Like whatever is put in that ring, once you sign the contract, you got to get in there and do it. And here's the thing I'm going to tell people that I don't think people realize. So fighting a southpaw, right? Southpaw versus southpaw. That doesn't happen a lot in boxing. That's probably going to happen maybe like 5% of a guy's career. You'd be lucky if you ever get two southpaws fighting each other ever. But if you do get it, you may have 1 or 2 fights like that, and that's it in your whole career. Now, the other 90-something, 98% of the time, you're going to be fighting a conventional fighter.
Right.
Right. So with that being said, they can switch a guy the day before the fight. And if he's conventional, that's something that you've been doing out of like what Manny has like almost 70 fights. Like that's something that you've been doing for what, like 69 fights? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be able to do that. Now, what I do believe is that because of the Cuban school and everything, and the selection of things that he was doing, they just know how to fight southpaws perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is, because I've never seen Ugas have such a flawless victory, even in with lesser opponents. But so he just has Manny's number. It's not that Manny's old or he's that much better. He just has Manny's number. If Manny comes back to fight him, it's going to happen again. I have no doubt that he's going to beat Manny again because he has his number. And then the other thing is, like, if Manny goes and fights someone else, it doesn't really make any sense at his age if he can't get over that hurdle to go fight somebody else and prolong, his career, when it should just be a gracefully bow out, and go be a senator or a president. Like I think he deserves a run back. Every champion does, if you get beat, even if you're going to get beat to a pote, like just like Lomachenko, he deserves a run back because he was the champion, even though he wasn't going to give one back if he won, but he deserves that run back. Even if he's going to get his butt beat, he deserves it, go out on your shield. But I just think he, in short, I think Ugas has Manny's number, and if he comes back, he deserves a run back. But if he loses, he should just bow out, or he could just bow out right now. Nobody, has anything to say. He's given us, a great deal of great fights.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it would be interesting to see how that fight plays out with like 2010 Manny's feet. Because I feel like if he's taken any step back, it's his feet, because his hands are still fast. He's still smart. He can still adjust to some extent, but the in and out is not what it used to be to me. And he even admitted that his legs were a little crampy. So I would love to see what that fight looks like with his in and out, because I think when he got real like bouncy and irregular was when he actually landed some stuff on Ugas. But when they're standing in the pocket, jab length, of course, Ugas is going to win that. But I think Manny's also in a similar position where if he wants to keep going, man, he definitely can. He's like, with the exception of like maybe the top couple guys, I think he probably still beats a lot of welterweights. But if stylistically he can't beat Ugas, I'm gonna just go ahead and guess that he's probably not gonna beat Spencer Crawford. And then what's the point? Because it's always been.
You don't know though. That's what I'm saying. It's I think Ugas, because of his height, his length, and his anticipation. So that's why. So going back, let's back up just a second, because you're talking about 2010 Manny. Even 2010 Manny, like people would say, oh yeah, he's gonna get on his feet, he's gonna have harder hand speed, all the stuff, faster hand speed. Ugas, if you really go back and look at what he's doing, like for instance, which is very hard to do. Like this is one reason why I've been 50-50 fighting southpaws myself, is the timing of his jab over the shoulder of the southpaw, because Manny's shorter than him. So Manny would begin his, he would try to go, like I see him like get on his toes, like, okay, this guy's been getting lucky. Let me get my rhythm going. Oh, here it comes up. It doesn't matter, because he's going over the top, boom, 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 to your lead shoulder, to your chin before you even start. Like so the fastest way, let me put it for the viewers, the fastest way to a point is a straight line, right? The jab is there. The lead leg is the closest weapon that you have to this man, right? Now, before doesn't matter, he could be one of the fast X-Men or whatever. He could be the Shazam. He should be, or anybody, right? And it doesn't matter, because the anticipation of that jab is there right as he makes the move. All he was doing was going, okay, he's going to move now, up. There's that jab. Boom. You see what I'm saying? So it's nothing that he could have done. Like that Cuban just really came from a school of boxing where they break down certain things of what to do against the southpaw. So so now going back to what you were saying about, oh, he wouldn't be able to beat Earl and he wouldn't be able to beat Crawford. Those guys are smaller. They don't come from that school. So those are fights that, you know, you would have to fight them out to see what's up. You know,
Right.
especially the southpaw versus southpaw thing, because, you know, looking at the training, he was quite faster than Errol Spence. I think Errol stays in that same mode all the time. Like that, it's not very slow, but it's like this, he doesn't speed up or slow down. He just stays steady, and he just down. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think that at any point in Manny's career, Ugas gives him problems, because you look at who Manny's had problems with as other counterpunchers. It's guys like Floyd, Marquez, even Bradley in stretches. Like the guys that have given him a hard time are guys that are smart, that can do some counterpunching. And I do think that the fact that Ugas is a southpaw and that didn't seem to bother him at all. You know, if anything, he was completely prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Manny's switching from orthodox guy who's super busy and is going to come forward to southpaw, who I have to go get, who has perfect timing every time I'm coming in. So I agree with that. I think anytime in their careers, Ugas gives them a hard time.
Yeah.
And I think, and I was saying this last week, I think that you could really make an argument right now that Ugas is the top at 147. What's your take on that? Because I don't think anybody in the top 5 has a win this significant.
Yeah, he took the test. You know what I'm saying? That's where Earl Spence was trying to get to. You know, as far as getting that name of Manny on his ledger and everything. But he took the test and he passed it. You know what I'm saying? So those other guys didn't. So he deserves to be crowned. Like it's an old saying in war, and it's I keep what I kill, right? So if you you know, not saying that he killed Manny, or, you know, I don't want to, you know, sometimes you do the analogy of war and people take it literally. I'm just saying, like, as far as the saying, I keep what I kill. So like when people go to war with people, or countries go to war with people back in the colonial days, or even before in the medieval times, what happens is whatever the empire is, they take it, like, and then they destroy your literature and everything. So they erase everything, right? So Ugas has essentially done that. Whatever is on Manny's ledger, whatever is on his record, now becomes his. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, man. And I feel like he should have like a certain level of priority on a Spence fight, on a Thurman fight, on whatever the big fight at welterweight is that he wants. I think he should get priority on that. And I hope he does. It seems like sometimes, and this is where I worry, it seems like sometimes that technical Cuban style, like we were talking about with Rigondeaux, it doesn't get the appreciation it should, you know, guys like Lara, guys like Rigondeaux. So I'm just hoping that, you know, that Ugas gets a big fight moving on from here, and he doesn't have to take, like, you know, a year and a half of tune-ups the way we see so many times, you know?
Yeah. Well, he should get a big fight, but I want to warn you that just like Riggs and everything, now everyone, because of this great performance against Manny, everybody's forgetting that Ugas is also a guy that handcuffs his offense and his defense first and everything, and he's been like that in all the other fights. And he could end up being like that with the guys his age, younger guys like Crawford and Errol, and it could make a more boring fight. So it was just, you know, he has Manny's number, and it was a lot of great matchmaking, because Manny's going to come forward, this guy's going to counter. So it's like all night is there. But now you get a, you know, more cerebral fight, like maybe with not, well, Earl's going to come forward also, but someone his age that is coming forward with showing a little different something. And now he's going to handcuff and go defense first, and it might be boring. He might lose on the card. So,
yeah, it's definitely a possibility. But I think having had this performance, he deserves whatever fight he should want. I think, as should Manny, if he wants to rematch, or he, you know, I think Manny's when you're that kind of legend, you get to go out how the fuck you want to go out. You know what I mean? Like, nobody can tell Manny how he's going to end his career. I want to bring it back to something you said real quick before. You slid it in real quick. You said Lomachenko deserves a chance to run it back with Teo. So how do you see that playing out if and when that happens? I'm just going to assume that's going to happen at some point.
Well, if they keep offering him money, he's going to have to take it, at some point in time. I understand, Lopez's outlook. The guy blatantly told him that he was not going to give him a rematch. So he's making him, he's doing, actually, it's the perfect marketing for you. Like, he's making him, like, it's almost like what Manuel Marquez did to Pacquiao. It's like, oh, if you want, that last fight, like, man, you're gonna have to back a Brinks up, and then it's gonna be on my terms. It's gonna be in Mexico. It's gonna be all this stuff, right? So I think that that's what Lopez is doing, and I think that's smart on him business wise. But it's funny how life is. Like, the same thing that makes you laugh can make you cry. He's waiting so long to run that fight back that Lomachenko might be ready for him.
That last fight against Nakatani, I thought that was one of his best performances, I think, in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, he just picked that guy apart like easy work. And that's right after Nakatani had just knocked out Verdejo. And before that, gave Lopez all he could fucking handle. And Loma made it easy work. I don't even remember Nakatani having like a good stretch of a round. He never even got a rhythm. And of course, styles make fights, right? So
yeah, definitely.
It's not if X then Y, but like, what do you think about that? Like, do you think he is ready based on that last performance, or do you think that's just a styles make fights? Don't read into it too hard.
It's definitely a style makes fights situation, only because I saw in Lomachenko's eyes that once he tasted Lopez's power and everything, he knew that there's a chance that he was going to end up on his back. So it was with more caution, and I mean, you can't. I mean, at a point you're gonna have to, figure out a way to get past it, like make it miss or whatever. Like, maybe he has. I'm sure. Like, there's another guy that's an encyclopedia of boxing. He's been to so many Olympics and at a high level and everything. He went and got that surgery to get his arm fixed and everything. So I would, the public's gonna demand the fight at some point, especially as Lopez keeps running through everybody, and if he's not going to fight one of these newer champions, like a Tank Davis or Garcia or or even Devin Haney, what I'm saying? Then, hey, why not Lomachenko again? So I mean, pay the man the money and get the fight.
Do you think it's a smart business move for him to fight one of the young guys first, or to try to create like a legacy with Loma?
I think, and if my buddy Joe I can never pronounce your name, Joe. Kalimbo. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
My buddy, he's been my friend for years. I've never said his last name the right way. I always just call him Joe Q. Anyway, so Joe does cuts for Lopez, and business wise, I would say string that out. Get past the Australian George Kambosa, and then make them back the Brinks up for the Lomachenko fight. Secure that money, and then after you secure that money, now go take on the world. Much like Chad Dawson's career in the light heavyweight division. I remember I used to be Chad Dawson's sparring partner for a bit, and he would take Tarver on twice, Glenn Johnson on twice, securing the bag before he fought Andre Ward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he fought B-Hop twice. And I think what that does, because I was thinking about this too, if he fights Lomachenko in a rematch and he wins, he's the A side against any of these young guys. For sure, for sure. There's none of them have any leverage to be the A side in that fight on a boxing achievement level. I can't speak to the money part, but on an achievement level, he would be the A side against any of those guys, I would think, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, he should be it now out of respect for beating the top dog of them all. But definitely after the second one, I mean, there'd be no doubt whatsoever, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's a what have you done for me lately business, so he's got to get in there and mix it up. People, this Georgia Kambosa fight is gonna gonna be a little bit of a barn burner. The Australian, he's gonna come to fight.
He's a good fighter.
Hey, are they having that fight in Australia? Because I saw that.
I believe they are.
Yeah, that was not wise. Take it for somebody that went to Australia and lost the title fight. Like you can't get prepared for that trip. It's a 24-hour flight, and then they're 17 hours ahead, in time wise. So you can't prepare for that, man. So I don't understand why someone that has all the cards, why he wouldn't make them come here.
It does seem a little strange to me, and it's also weird that Top Rank let that fight slip away. To me, I can't.
Top Rank also did that to Manny, and you saw what happened to him against Jeff Horn. So
right. I don't know. I don't understand why he's going to Australia. Maybe that's the only way they can make the fight happen, or maybe it's worth more money in Australia.
Oh, it's definitely worth more money. Yeah, it's definitely worth more money.
Pretty famous out there, and I don't know that people know him like that in the States. So maybe, you know what I'm saying?
He's starting to get a bit of the name. I remember we had him on my other podcast, The Fight Show. We had him on there and learned a great deal about him, about his Greek heritage and being from Australia and everything. He's really a fan-friendly fighter. But as far as face recognition, I don't know if anybody recognized him in the state, but down under, in Australia, that you're talking about a country that just as big as America mass wise, and they enjoy fights over there. That's a fight friendly atmosphere, so they will pay top dollar to see that fight. So obviously that's why Lopez is going over there. But after you get off that plane, he's gonna be wondering if it was worth the money. I know I was like, good Lord, man, it feels like it's 3 a.m. in my body, but the sun is out like it's 12 a.m.
How long in advance
12 noon.
did you go? Like, how long in advance before your fight did you show up to try to get used to that?
We had a choice, either go 2 months ahead of time to try to get acclimated or whatever, right? But then my camp was like, no, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna go over there right up on it, so your body won't even have time to realize that it's in a different time zone, which is another plan that people do. So we did, and I think I was affected sleep deprivation wise by the fight, but more it was just out of sorts. That was like one of my first big international fights, and of course I didn't have a extensive amateur background like these guys or whatever. I'm not sure if Lopez has actually went out of the country in the amateurs or anything, but that would help a lot too. Like as far as like guys like Andre Ward never gave anybody that even the playing field by going like to their country or anything. But if he wanted to, he could have, because he traveled so much as an amateur,
So you just had a couple of days, or you literally like flew in day of?
Yeah. I had like about almost just at 2 weeks or a little over a week and a half. Okay. And everything. So so we did, all the press. It really didn't catch up to me until we started doing all the press, because we had to hit the ground and running. And then I was like, oh man, like I feel like kind of spent, but I don't understand why, all the stuff, so. And
you're falling asleep at 2 p.m. for 9 hours.
Yeah. Oh, and that's when I knew, like, like that old those old memes or videos online where they go, and that's when he knew he effed up. You know what I'm saying? Because when they were singing the American national anthem for me, and I was like sitting there in the whole like pre-ceremony of the fight it was a huge fight over there, just as I'm sure that the Lopez fight is going to be. And all the pre-fight stuff took so long that I was just like, dude, I could really just go back there and lay down right now.
Right. That's crazy, bro. So that was a fight in Australia. Did you ever fight out of the country outside of that?
Oh yeah, tons of time. I went to Montreal, Germany, like all kind of places after that. You know what I'm saying? Like I fought on all I think four about 5 different continents or whatever. So
right. Yeah. So what do you Do you feel that when you fight in another country? Like, do you feel that weight of like I really gotta go the extra mile to get a decision here, or like do you feel like everybody kind of looking at
Oh,
you sideways, or
oh yeah. You definitely, if you can, you don't want them to come to a decision, and definitely in like Germany or somewhere like that. You don't want them to come to a decision because if the other guy makes it, well, the old school they used to say like if the other guy makes it to the bell, then he's gonna win or whatever. But then at the same time, that's a hell of a thing to get off a plane and know that you need a knockout. But I will say this about the heartland of Europe compared to going to Australia or whatever, right? So we're talking about 10 hours, right? Which is like, and a flight from New York, you know what I'm saying? Like 10 hours different time zone and a flight from New York or whatever, right? Um, it's way closer than 17 hours in a 24-hour flight. Like, I
right?
just really feel like, and I don't want to be biased or whatever, but if you're going to fight against Australian, you better bring him here because I mean, this is the bells and whistles of boxing anyway. You know what I'm saying? Las Vegas, Madison Square Garden. Like, why are you fighting, at the West Bay or what, Cannes
Right.
or at the Opera House or whatever? Why would you be doing that? You know what I'm saying?
And,
Well,
or
I know why. They're paying them a lot of money, but
yeah, or meet somewhere in the middle, take advantage of that crazy UK boxing market. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
but I definitely get what you're saying. I also wanted to bring it back to what you're saying before about sparring with Chad Dawson. What time period did you spar with Chad?
Oh, for definitely for both the Glenn Johnson fights. I was in Vegas sparring with Chad and with and getting training with Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, who's a great man.
Right.
Shout out to him and everything, and just the way that I really learned a lot doing in that camp. But all the camps that I used to go spar in and everything, I used to learn a great deal. One of the things I used to learn is that I was overtraining. Like
Right.
I would, I needed to what I tell fighters nowadays that I deal with. I'm like, dude, it's sports specific training. If there should be a time that you're working on your conditioning, building up to a fight, there should be a time that you're getting your hand speed and defense better and all that stuff, foot speed, working on your cross training or whatever. And then there should be a time where you're just getting on those focus mitts and getting sharp. And then there's a time to spar. There you have to break that thing down. And I didn't realize that I was trying to do everything all at once and never taking a break. And I was like, man, this
Right.
is what these guys are doing. Like, so
Right. Working smarter, not harder.
exactly.
Was Chad? I mean, I remember his talent level, bro. Like 10 years ago, was so high, bro. I mean, the skills. He reminded me a little bit of you mentioned him the last time we talked. He's a light heavyweight now. What's his name? Marcus Brown. That was like that, those kind of skills where his hands are so fast, his feet were great. Was he like one of the slicker guys you ever got to spar with?
Yeah. Well, what it was he was one of the longer guys and faster guys that you would ever see in the sport. He took a lot of advantage of his straight shots. His jab just felt like like how you would imagine Kalistikov's jab feeling.
Right.
Like, it was like a real deal jab, man. I remember that was the first thing that I noticed. Like, because what happened, the way I even got the job to spar him, um, uh, everyone that he was sparring, that they would be paying him to come in and spar like weekly, and they would fly him from all over the country or whatever, pay him their weekly stipend as soon as they got off the plane, and then they get in the gym and they spar him one time and they get beat down so bad that they hop on a plane in the middle of the night and nobody would even, and they go to the hotel to get him and they be like, yo, this dude is gone, man, like what the hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? He just left with the money and da da da. So when they got me, it was one of the guys called over from Vegas fast talking me or whatever, and he's like, hey, would you spar? And coming from Sacramento, man, you get hard sparring all the time anyway. And And I was like, yeah, I'll spar Chad Dawson. Shoot, I spar Mike Sims for free. Well, I'm not spar Chad Dawson. And then we get there and Eddie Mustafa picks me up and he's like, all right, man, this is gonna be some hard sparring. Don't disappear on us. And I was like, Eddie, man, I'm a different dude, man. Like I appreciate hard sparring. Like it's just sparring. I mean, we got 16-ounce gloves on, right? It's not like he's gonna come in there with some 10s. And he's like, yeah. I go, well, I don't understand why guys are belling out, And then so we got there and sure enough, I bring it to him hard. He appreciated it. So, they I think they were paying me like $2,500 a week. So shoot, I'm like, dude, you can hit me with a sledgehammer.
Is that the only camp you did with him?
I want to say there was one more camp. I can't remember who he was fighting. Glenn Johnson, because I guess my come forward style and head movement was good for preparation for Glenn Johnson. But there was one other time that I sparred him also, but I can't remember what fight. Oh, it was Diakonu when he fought Diakonu in Sacramento. Yeah.
Right. I remember that fight. With somebody like Chad, man, who was just like, I feel like he had a real special, there was something special about like when you would watch him fight, it was a little like shocking to see somebody that long and coordinated and da 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 da. And then at some point, I think it's probably the Andre fight is a big part of it or whatever, but it seems like either the passion fell off or whatever. What do you think happened with Chad? Like what
it's
stopped
very
him
simple.
from
It's very simple what happened to him. If you ever walk up on Chad, you would think that you're standing next to an NBA basketball player like a Sacramento King or something. The guy's like, 6'4", 6'5", and he's all lean muscle, like, like to the point that you see striation in his arm and stuff, right? So for him to get down to, so that's like when he's at 195, like walking around. So for him to get down to 175, he would have to lose a great deal of water and everything because there's no fat. You understand what I'm saying?
right,
So with the Ward fight, they made it at 68. It was so that's what did him in. So if he was like, I think he would weigh in at like 73, 74 all the time as light heavyweight or whatever. But to go under 72 for him, and I remember Raphael his cut man Raphael, I forget Raphael's last name, but he's a Hall of Famer. He passed away I think 2 years ago or so. Raphael saying like like he's so lean that he has to make sure that he gets down the right way and everything. And that's what did it. Not to take anything away from Dre, because I mean, even Chad was a great super middleweight before being a light heavyweight when he was younger and everything. I just think that he lost the weight the wrong way, and then Dre made him pay for it, definitely. But that's part of the game. Like Coach Brooks said a couple weeks ago, you can't once you sign that paper, man, it's
right.
on.
Do you think he should have moved up to cruiserweight?
He could have moved up to cruiserweight, but the thing about cruiserweight that a lot of people don't understand is you got to fight a lot of Europeans. You got to do a lot of traveling to be a cruiserweight. There's not a big market for cruiserweight in America, So I think that's what he feared. He got a lot of money at light heavyweight, and then cruiserweight is like, I'm going to get money, but what am I doing?
We talked about this last time, bro. I'm telling you, there's got to be another weight class between light heavy and cruiser, and then cruiser and heavyweight. There's got to be some like medium heavyweight and something between cruiser and light heavy, because you get anybody between that their fighting weight is naturally between 175 and 2. You're screwed, man. You either have to cut weight within an inch of your life, or you have to fight guys that are way bigger than you.
Well, I mean? It seems like it was just yesterday, but in the 90s, in the early 2000s, cruiserweight used to be 190 pounds, right?
Right.
Like, and I think that was the perfect place for it. And then I think that what they should have did was, instead of taking cruiserweight and moving it to 200, they should have kept cruiserweight at 190. Then they should have made a smaller heavyweight, like a junior heavyweight, at like 200. And then we would have been fine right now, because then above 200, you would fight the big dinosaurs like the Kalitsakos and all those kind of people, Shannon Briggs and guys like that. And then you would have the other guys that, can lose weight and get down to 200 that weren't cutting it at that division, like a what's my man's name? Oh man, I love watching this dude too. Othermick, like my man Othermick. Remember Othermick?
Yeah.
Thomas Othermick. Yeah, he would
Yep.
have been perfect like at 190 cruise. I'm at 200 cruiserweight
Yep.
area, and then guys like that get older and don't make 175 as easy, like me and Chad or something like that, fighting at 190. Yeah.
Did you ever have problems making weight?
No, never. Um, making weight was more of a science to me because I realized that I'm very heavy muscle, and when you break down the science, coming over from another sport like football, muscle is really 87% water. And shout out to my boy Renee Amijo from the Next Great Champ because he broke that down to me live on set. He's like, dude, he goes, you got all kind of water in that chest right there.
Right.
He said, lose that water and you'll make 175 easy. And then once I started researching and everything, that's all it is. It's taking out your water at the right time for me, taking out the water at the right time and putting it back in at the right time before the fight. You know what I'm saying? So right now with the guys that do the and I don't, in some states it's not legal, but they do the IV and everything. I would have loved that if that was around when I was coming through.
Like a post weigh-in IV drip.
Yeah. Oh man, I would have killed people.
Yeah. I was thinking about this too. Speaking of weight cuts, I read something this morning that Oscar Valdez had tested positive for something called phentermine, which is essentially a weight loss drug. I don't know what that comes in, if that's something that's in supplements or whatever, but do you have a take on that?
Well, the whole phentermine and so there's phentermine. The one thing that confused me on it, so there's something that has been killing people on the streets too. I think Phentermine is the stuff that goes into dietary weight loss stuff, right?
Yep.
And phentermine is the stuff that they're cutting like cocaine with and stuff that's killing people.
Fentanyl. That's fentanyl.
Fentanyl. Okay, fentanyl.
Fentanyl
All right, yeah. So
is the weight loss drug.
So what I'm saying is anything with Fenta in it, I would stay the hell away from it.
Yeah.
Because there's other ways. Because you guys also remember that a lot of guys that are using the weight loss stuff, either they're using it because they're trying to cut corners in losing weight or whatever. Because when you're training at a high level, unless you're just getting older and your body's rejecting the weight loss or the training, and if that's the case, you need to move to another division. Your body, like, I got to a point where people could call me on a short notice fight and be like, where's your weight at right now? In 2 weeks, someone fell out with his fight. We need someone that we can move within the top 10 or top 15 to take this fight, and we'll pay you. And they're like, where your weight at right now? And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm like 205, but I'll take it. They're like, oh, you're gonna lose that? You're gonna get to 175 in 2 weeks? I'm like, yeah, because my body is already, the wheels are turning, and my body's already prepared to get all that toxin and all that water out and be at 175. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why people use that. Huh?
You lost 30 pounds in 2 weeks?
Oh yeah, I could. Yeah.
Woo!
If you look at the Marcus Brown fight, I'll send you a picture of it one day. I lost for his fight. I lost 30 pounds in 2 weeks, and then the night of the fight, I weighed 195 pounds after weighing in at 174, like the day before.
Did you feel okay?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm telling you, man. You get
it
down
Canelo
to a
does
science. Yeah, you get it down to a science of taking the water out and putting it back in at the right time.
It sounds like you got your head around it really well, because I know guys that have a real hard time with that concept. Like it's not about training. It's not, or work ethic. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's a difficult concept to regulate that number so precisely. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the science. It definitely. Another guy that does it well is the guy that I train, Mike Guy, but he uses like more the scientific stuff like that. He doesn't believe in my old ways and stuff. So he does meal prep and all this kind of. That's what a lot of these newer guys are doing. I mean, the science is getting better. Like me, Like I used to get down to like 185 or so, like the week of the fight, and then I know that I'm a couple of poops and a whole bunch of sweating away, and then by the time the plane lands wherever we're gonna be at, like the day before the weigh-in, I'm already under. You know what I'm saying? And I even had a technique where I would take apple Jolly Ranchers, let them water my mouth, pucker my mouth up, and I can spit out like 16 ounces is a pound. So you give me a 32-ounce Gatorade bottle, and that's over 2 pounds right there. I do that like 2 times right before the weigh-in, and that's 4 pounds.
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, old stuff, man. I got all this stuff from Lou Duva. My guy Lou Duva, rest in peace, man. He's the man on the set, man. He was giving me pearls, man, pearls.
So this is maybe a stupid question, right? But I saw an interview with Valdez where he said, I really don't know anything about it. I'm not saying whether I agree with that or not, or believe him or whatever. But is that really a thing that happens? Like, are trainers giving guys bottles of shit and they're going, all right, I trust you, boss, and throwing it back? Like,
not unless you're Ivan Drago. You know what I'm saying? From Rocky. But because I'm gonna tell you, I want everybody out there to wrap your mind around this. Like in the Olympics and in boxing, definitely, right? Like individual sports and things of that nature, not like team stuff. You are so concerned as a top level athlete about what you put in your body that you were literally go into a kitchen at a restaurant and see how they're cooking the food. Right? So why would I then take something from somebody that walks up to, like I hear guys go, oh man, early, like I remember when Ben Johnson got caught after he broke the world record in 89 in the 100 meters or whatever. He's like, or 88 in the 100 meters. He's like, oh, a guy handed me a drink on the street. Come on, man. You you are a world-class athlete that care about what kind of bread you're eating and what, if it's mustard or mayo on something, and you're gonna just take something from a guy walking up. So yeah, there's no way that happened. This isn't, Rocky Ford, like Ivan Drago, oh, take this and injecting stuff in him while he's, lifting weights or whatever. Like, no, exactly what's going into your body.
Is it, and I'm basically asking you this because you would know better than me, and I'm like playing it out for myself. Is there a world where, be it a trainer, a dietitian, a nutritionist, whoever the fuck is in your life, you know what I'm saying, is oh, I want to make sure they're ready, and they don't know this is banned, and it gets put in the water or gets put in, is that even a remote possibility in a camp? Or as a fighter, are you so leading the charge on that it's like, yo, I didn't see you make that, so I'm not eating it? You know what I'm saying?
It could happen, but I mean, you would have to, I'm sure as a fighter, you would have questions about something at some point in time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like even going back to Aaron Pryor in the bottle or whatever, like, right. Even if he didn't know what was in the bottle, he knew that when he drank that bottle instead of the other bottle, that it expanded his lungs and he could breathe more. So, and that, in short, you're not a stupid person. You know that there's something in there. Now, there are times that I've been at Big Bear and things of that nature when someone's doing meal prep and things. I'm not in the kitchen over their shoulder watching them make it. So yeah, they could put something in the food or whatever. But you're so close with these people that are working around you. I don't think that they would be comfortable putting something in something without telling you, because right. If it kills you, like, they're gonna, you know what I'm saying, they love allergic. You know what I'm saying? It's not like right. They're just like, oh, sweep them out the way, roll them up in the carpet and dump them in the Pacific and we'll wait for the next fighter to come. Like right. It's not like they're doing that. So it could happen, but I would say it wouldn't happen because the relationship of the camp is too close with the fighter.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a really interesting point. Obviously, I think it's good that these positive tests come up because it means that I think as many fights as possible are clean. But I think it's interesting, man, because there's never anybody in history that went, yep, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got a reason. Everybody's got a story. And sometimes it's real easy to believe. And sometimes I just don't know. And I'm, in good faith, for me, like, I don't want to believe it. You know what I mean? I want to believe what guys say. But
I'm gonna, because because doing that Oscar Valdez situation, it came out, and a lot of people were saying that everybody in sports is on something or whatever, right? And that's not true. Let me break it down like this. Now, you're talking to a person that had a cup of coffee in the NFL or whatever. There's a lot of people that are on stuff in the NFL, and there's a lot of people that refuse to take stuff just because they're like, dude, I'm already at the top. Why do I even need anything right now? You know what I'm saying? Now, there's a lot of mid-level guys that are like, oh, I need to get there, so I'm gonna just take one cycle and get there. Or there's a lot of people that were at the top, and they're getting older. They got an injury, knee injuries, whatever. They're falling off. They take a cycle, boom, and it makes them feel like Superman again, and they're back, and it strengthens them. And let's get it for real. That's what steroids were made for sick people that need, like my daughter had RSV, which is a respiratory disease when she was born. She took breathing steroids that strengthened her thing, that if I gave them to a boxer, he would pay me, tremendous amount of money to get them. You know what I'm saying? Because it would expand it would make him feel like in the first round, in the last round, how he feels in the first round. But so I said all that to set up, even when people are taking steroids and they're in the ring, right, it's not going to help your boxing ability.
Right.
This is the science. You understand what I'm saying? If it might help you make weight, it might even make you feel more refreshed doing a round. Like, in the 12th round, you're not as tired as somebody. But if you're really fighting an elite person or a top champion, if they hit you on the button in the solar flexor, on the back of your chin, on the back of your jaw, front of your chin, on your temple, on your neck, in your liver, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're going to go down just like the guy that didn't inject the shit. So I don't understand, like people are like, oh, when you were fighting, were you always concerned? I'm like, no, as long as he made the weight, I felt I'm going to whip his ass. Like, even if he is on some shit, like, it takes 7 pounds of pressure to floor somebody. It doesn't matter if they're injected. Doesn't matter what hood they come from. Doesn't matter what country they come from. If you get hit on the button, you're going down. So steroids have no place in boxing is what I'm saying. Can they help you recover from injury? Yeah. Can they help you get a better wind? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, then a person that is truly elite, let's say like a Floyd Mayweather, not saying that Floyd ever took steroids, he would never do that either. But if he did, now he could actually really hurt somebody, because now you got Super Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or whatever. If I really think you're talented enough, let's just work hard and get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we need so many shortcuts? And it's especially in something that's not definite, because we might juice you up, you know what I'm saying? And you go out and the guy throws a punch and it hits you right on the back of the jaw and you fall face first.
Right.
The steroids can't help that.
Right. You're just knocked out with a thick neck.
Yeah, they don't help everything. I think in this world that we're getting in, so if you're out there listening, kids, steroids are not going to make you invincible. You can get shot up with all the stuff you want and go out and get hit right on the beak and fall on your face. So it's not a cure-all.
I think especially in a sport like boxing, where you're literally like you're putting lives on the line, it's really it's different than, it's never like ideal, but it's different than weightlifting, where you're just competing against another person. Like, you're about to make contact with another human being, and the goal is to put them out. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to inflict damage. So to add something to that to make it even more dangerous is like, I don't understand how fighters get to that point, because who respects fighters more than fighters? You know what I mean?
Well, it becomes, it's greed, and it's shortcuts. Like, people aren't willing to put in the hard work, and it's a lot of fictional stuff too, because like they might have people like that are selling it to them or in their camp that are saying, dude, you take this and you're gonna be the next, da 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 da. Well, that's not promised, because you could take that shit and go out and still get your ass beat, or you could take that and really cause some health problems that stop you from ever getting to the top. So, but the main thing is that I just want people to understand that it's not going to make you a great. You have to already have talent for it to help you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If you're not, and thank God, and I hope that never changes, because the elite people or the champion level people, they kind of don't feel like they need it. You see what I'm saying? So for the other people, I'm talking to you. If you don't got the talent to be a champion, this it's not gonna it's not gonna help, bro. Like all you're doing is putting your life in danger. Don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Valdez is one of my favorite like young guys right now, and I was a little bummed out to see that. Not sure what to believe as far as that story, but hopefully, I mean, he's supposed to still fight, right?
Yeah. The WBC really looked out for him. You know what I'm saying? So, we'll see how that goes. But I mean, just like
Do you think
people
that's
are
because
saying,
it's a
"Oh, what
weight loss
outrage he
drug?
should be," huh?
I was gonna say, do you think that's because it's a weight loss drug and it's not a performance enhancer?
Well, you got to look at it this way. In baseball and football, uh, um, even in the Olympics, right? You take a banned substance, you're banned for a specific amount of time. They don't take your whole livelihood away from you.
Right.
So why in boxing are people calling upon like, oh, they should be banned for life, they should be kicked out of the sport? I understand because of the seriousness, like you just said, like you could actually, if you could actually kill someone in boxing. So
Right.
so maybe that's why the people are like, oh, they should be banned for life. But just like any other athlete, like, okay, let them come back. If in the NFL you get like 3 chances to be on a drug or whatever, and before they ban you or whatever. So like, hey, let these guys, let it get out their system, let the cycle get out, keep testing them randomly. Now they're on the watch, right? And then see if they can come back naturally. You know what I'm saying?
And I think there should be some sort of like regularity developed as far as all of the testing protocols in different states and different countries and whatever. I think that would help to really weed that out, because then you also don't have instances like with Luis Ortiz. They popped him for his blood pressure medication because one country's guys cut weight with this, another country literally has a heart problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, plus he's 85. Like, what do you want him to do, man? He's
right. Right. Like he's a fucking 250-pound, 60-year-old man. He has to take blood pressure medication. They're like, no, you can't have that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if we develop some regularity, it would keep the fights even safer. But I think the testing is doing a good job. There was a couple fights coming up, man. I wanted to get your take on before I let you go, bro. What do you think about all this heavyweight nonsense that's going on right now, as far as the Fury Wilder 3 fight taking so long to get made, and then Joshua Fury getting canceled? Like, what's going on, man?
Well, Joshua Fury got canceled. I told people it's common sense, man. I remember me and you talked about this, I think, on the last time we got on. You cannot, there's only 2 ways that you beat the system. And that's, you don't beat the system that you can, maneuver through the system. And that's with your doctor and that's with your lawyer, right? Nobody cares about what's going on at your job, even the jobs that me and you work or whatever out in the world. Nobody cares about anything unless your doctor says it or your lawyer says it. So with that being said, you can get around things, but if your lawyer comes in like with Wilder, he had a mandatory rematch. So when people were like, "Oh yeah, Fury's not going to honor the rematch and he's going to keep," I'm like, "No, he's not. There's no way that Shelly Finkel is going to let that let that go, man. Like, there's no way. And if he does, he's going to get sued big time and then stripped later. He might enjoy the fight while it's happening, but that's almost like a criminal act. It is a criminal act actually to breach a contract, right? And I knew that it was not going to happen. So and believe it or not, Fury knew that it was going to happen. That's why Joshua and them was getting mad at him, because they're like, dude, you knew what you did, and you knew that it was going to happen. So why did you, do all this hoopla, get people to waste all this money and get the world all ahead on this fight, and just for it not to happen? So then, what happened is the fight got set for, what was it, July? Was the date?
I think it was July.
Sometime in July, I think. Yeah. And that was, less than a couple months away. But now I'm telling people, oh, Wilder's gonna knock him out. They're like, why? He said, I go, dude, Wilder's been training for the fight because he knows. Finkel's been telling him, like, dude, I'm gonna get that fight. It's gonna happen. He's been training since he lost for Fury. Fury, may have been training for Joshua, thinking that they're gonna pull off this great travesty and push the fight ahead, right? So now Fury has to reset and train for Wilder in like less than a month and a half. You see what I'm saying?
And you think Wilder's gonna beat him?
Well, at that time, he definitely would have beat him because it would have been boom right up on him. No time he would have knocked him out definitely at that time. Now it's up in the air because now they moved it all the way to November, and now Fury had time to go back and start training, putting a game plan together for Wilder and everything. So now it's more of a 50-50 fight. But had they fought in July, Wilder would have knocked him out.
I just don't know, man. I just don't know if Wilder has the diversity to get him. Like, I know he landed on him the first time, but he didn't put him out. And it just seems like for me, that second fight was he's got your number fight. And I can't see what Wilder does to change that. Like, what do you
Absolute
think he
power.
does?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what do you think he does? Like, how do you think he changes that? Because it's like he's either getting outboxed or he's getting bullied.
Yeah. So here the thing is Wilder is learning to step around the opponent, meaning that if someone's coming at you, like imagine a train, you're on a train track, right? And the train comes at you, right? And if you stay on the train track, of course the train's going to run you over. It's heavier, it's faster, it's a locomotive. If you step off the train track just a couple degrees to the left or to the right, now the train goes by and you get a different angle on the train. That's what stepping around is, all right? So right. Wilder's learning to step around. So it's not that Wilder's power is not affecting Fury. It's just that Fury can see, the train can see you trying to hit it straight on. But when you step to the side, now it looks like this. Now the train doesn't see you hit it on the beak, right? So that's what I think that Wilder is learning. He's learning that to set up his power, whereas against Fury in that second fight, Fury's coming downhill. He weighs more. He just smothered his punches, and he had no answer to it. He was on his back foot. Now you don't have the leverage to punch because you're getting walked backwards. We saw that happen with Holyfield versus Tyson when Holyfield would grip Tyson up and walk him backwards. Now you don't have the leverage to turn on punches. So I believe that Wilder is working all that stuff out. So what happens in great fights is that one person has a plan, the other person has a plan. The other person, one of these guys is going to figure out how to throw a monkey wrench in that plan, and then somebody's going to have a plan B or C, and that's what makes the really, really great fights.
I think he could work some of those skills against somebody that's not so slippery, but I just see Fury as such a, like you described with Rigondeaux, I see him as a encyclopedia of sorts, where if he has to change it up, he can. And I don't know if Wilder can do that, but we'll see. I think it's a better fight than is being credited. You know what I'm saying? Like, people aren't that hype on it, it seems, but I think it's a better fight than people are talking. I think the real good one, and I know we talked about this briefly, is Usyk and Joshua. And I think that's a really, really fun matchup. And I think the coolest part about this is these two fights are about to happen within the next month or so. And I would think the winner of those two fights would fight each other, and we'd have the best heavyweight in the world, right?
That's how it plays out. I mean, that's it's like a tournament, right? It's like the old Enter the Dragon tournament, like the best fight the best, right? And that's exactly how it should play out.
And who do you think that guy will ultimately be
in the heavyweight tournament?
Yeah, of those four. It's tough, right?
It is tough. So you got Wilder, Joshua, Fury, and who was the fourth person you named?
Usyk.
Oh, Usyk. Oh, what's crazy, man? I'm glad you bring that up. If Usyk makes it to the final bell, he's gonna beat Joshua. He has a better IQ. He can outbox him. He's got fast. He's got more movement with feet and angles, being a southpaw and everything. But he does not take the attrition of heavyweight very well. So if Joshua hits him, of course he's going to go down. But if he can outbox Joshua, if he makes it to the last bell, he's definitely going to be ahead on the cards. Even if Joshua stops him, he's going to be ahead on the cards. If he makes it to the end, he's going to win. So I think that's the fight that's really going to shake things up. And then at that point, it's great because all the matchups, and then it becomes a true boxing savant against true heavyweight power. So now we got the matchups that we really want, because now instead of just two big old dinosaurs banging each other out, now we got one guy trying to box, and then he could be erased at any moment. So it's oohs and ahs every time the big guy swings. And so I mean, it's just going to be the heavyweight division is really taking off, but I think Usyk is going to be the one that shakes it up with a win.
Yeah, I think it's very possible, and I think that on a style level, he's definitely a problem for Wilder, and I think for Fury, I think it could really bother him that there's somebody else that can move their feet that well. You know what I'm saying? That can match his foot movement, that also has the speed and the head movement, the slickness. Like I would really love to see those two guys like chess match it out, man.
Well, the thing that Fury does, and I break down a lot of his stuff, is that you have to realize out there, you guys, that Fury's abused his body for a great deal of years with drugs and things of that nature, and drugs and alcohol and partying big time and stuff. You don't ever really come back from that as an athlete, no matter how clean you try to live. And then, who knows if those demons got to him again. So a lot of the stuff that he does, all that, the cute stuff, is just like what it was when Ali did it. It's to extend the fight, because you're not at the age to fight a full round or a full 12 rounds anymore. So you're extending rounds. Like imagine in both of those Wilder fights, all that moving and posing and feigning and stuff. He took literally like almost 2 minutes out of every round of him just doing that, and he would have to fight for a minute plus in every round. So I think someone like Usyk forces him to fight more, because now you don't get a chance to control the environment as much as with everybody. It becomes a chess match. But I don't think Usyk wins that fight, because Fury's just a big old dinosaur. He still could lay him out. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, if he beats Joshua, every combination of the division becomes a blockbuster fight. That's why, I won't say I hope it happens. I hope the best man wins, of course, but it can get interesting if he wins.
Oh, it changes the whole division up completely. And now you got this smaller guy. There hasn't been a guy under 6'5", 6'6" that's been a top guy at heavyweight since, like, I don't know, maybe Chris Bird, or like it's been a long time, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time since you had a smaller guy like that. Chris Bird, Layman Brewster.
It's really all been guys that are 6'5" and up since Lennox Lewis, for the most part, as far as like the very, very top.
Yeah.
The heavy,
as far as guys that have stayed around and dominated, but you got Sultan, a couple of guys slid in there that were smaller guys and everything. But it definitely has become that bigger division, which is why you want to change the weight class, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Well, right, yeah, because they're basically NBA players now that are the heavyweight champions. You know what I'm saying? There's no Floyd Pattersons and Sonny Listons. Those guys are all cruiserweights and light heavyweights.
Definitely. But there will be one of these guys, man, that comes about. There's always that Mike Tyson. There's always that Rocky. Oh God. How can I forget Rock's last name?
Marciano?
Yeah, Marciano, yeah. Oh, forgive me, you guys, all you guys out there, forgive me. Rocky Marciano, Tyson, Gene Taney. I can remember a guy like Gene Taney
David Tua.
Centuries back. But yeah, David Tua, but I forget The Rock. I'm sorry, man. But there's always one of these guys that comes.
Before I let you go, man, I got one more I wanted to ask you about, because I remember I thought of you when I was watching it. It was the unification fight, the Jamel Charlo Carlos Castaño fight. Did you get to see that?
Yeah.
What did you think of that fight? Did you think that was a draw?
Um, I thought that the challenger won, but only because he put Charlo's back on the rope for over like 80% of the fight. So that his aggression was very effective and things of that nature. Charlo did land some hard shots. He countered, but the other guy's work rate was like 3-1 to Charlo's, and so I thought that he won. I think that they gave it a draw out of respect that Charlo was still fighting back and landing clean blows. Charlo did land a lot of clean shots or whatever, but the twins, man, they got a lot more to worry about right now as criminally than than the ring. Did you hear what happened to those guys?
I heard a little bit about it. I think it was
Jamel,
it was Jamel.
Jamal Charlo or whatever. Yeah, but it happened shortly after that fight right there. His yeah. So the one that wasn't fighting. So I want to believe it was the 160 pounder.
Yeah, Jamal.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened? Did
But
he run out on a bar tab? What isn't that?
oh man, I watched the video and everything. Of course, the courts are going to have to deal with it first. But my thing is, again, kids, if you are a certain person and you are definitely in sports or even in anywhere in life, you just don't do certain stuff. It's not that he ran out on the bill or whatever. What happened was that he had a huge entourage with him of like 8 people or so, and he obviously had been paying for their stuff on a card for throughout the whole day or the whole week or whatever, and the death lock obviously came on. So that when the waitress came back and was like, "Oh, it's not taking your card or whatever, this is and that," and he, at that point, he says that his testimony says that as far as when the police got there, he says that I thought that she was trying to steal my credit card and stuff like that. So I took the credit card, but on film, I understand that the police say that he took her tip booklet, grabbed his card, and grabbed her money or whatever, which now that becomes strong arm robbery, to the letter of the law, not in the spirit of the law. What I mean by that, people, is that you can do stuff like you can go out and snatch Halloween bags on Halloween, snatch candy bags, but by the letter of the law, like how the law goes, that's strong arm robbery. So someone could literally stop you and go, "You're going to jail for 3 years for a felony for taking candy," because it's strong arm robbery. Now, anyone with common sense would be like, "Oh, this is a rite of passage. These are kids. Get out of here," or give you a warning in court or something like that, or just not even go to court until you get out of there, like old school America. But if someone wants to play hardball, they can play hardball, and I think that's what the situation that not Chargan, but Charlo is in.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. That's definitely unfortunate. I think they're both super talented. I've definitely seen fights where I feel like they're not really active enough. And maybe that was my issue with this last one, was I just felt like with the amount of skills those guys have, to spend that much time on the ropes, to spend that much time going straight backwards, like that, like tactically, there was just like it wasn't all there. And then for me, Jamal's last fight with Derevyachenko, I felt kind of the same, where I felt like he won that fight, but so much of it, his back was on the ropes, and he's just like trying to keep Derevyachenko off of him. Why do you think it is that they're just not quite active enough? You think it's mental, or you think it's like just strategic?
Well, the thing is just like when you see the old Mike Tyson fights or whatever, as long as the fight goes within 4 rounds or whatever, right, and he gets a hold of you, then he's going to erase you. But one thing that power punchers never prepare for is, what if I miss? So Jamal, the brother at 168, forgive me if I get him wrong, the brothers at 160, 168, he has real power. If he hits you, he can definitely hurt you. We saw him do that to J-Rock and things of that nature, right? The other brother, I think that he wants to have the power of his brother. He doesn't have the necessary technique. His legs are a little bit smaller. He doesn't explode from the floor like his brother. in everything. And he's a little, if you look at him, he's a little bit smaller. That's why he is a junior middleweight at 154. So with him, he needs to throw more shots and break the opponent down more.
Right.
And I think he gets intoxicated thinking like, oh, I'm gonna hit this person one time. We saw him do that with Tony Harrison. I'm gonna hit him one time and he's gonna disappear, and then all of a sudden he's in a bar fight, you know. So, but with Jamal, as far as Lomachenko, I'm not Lomachenko, but the other Russian kid that he fought, he's just he's very hard nosed, and I think that he hit him with some shots, and you talk about being built like Rocky Marciano. That guy, my fighter fought that guy, and he's very well built and very he's like a little carved piece of iron, man. So you're not gonna erase that kid. So that's what happened. He gets it. Power punchers get intoxicated with their power. He tried to hit him. He's like, oh, this guy's not going nowhere. Oh, now I'm on the ropes trying to do the rope-a-dope.
And they are fighting good opponents. It's not for nothing. They're not fighting bums. And so I give them respect for that. I feel like their skill level, if they were just a little more active, you know, they might not be in as many close decisions as they are. It seems like both of them spend a lot of time in close decisions.
Well, they both. So here's the thing. Also, they both come from the Ronnie Shields camp, right? Ronnie Shields, and then the other trainer that trains the other one. But Ronnie definitely started them both off, right? So Ronnie, their style. If you look at their style, they are almost a carbon copy of prime Jermaine Taylor, except they don't have Jermaine Taylor's power, and they don't whip that jab as much as Jermaine Taylor. So Ronnie himself, I don't know if you guys go back and realize how good of a welterweight Ronnie was when he fought, but Ronnie used to whip the hell out of that jab too. So he's passing that on to them, and that's where they falling off at. They don't use that jab like Jermaine Taylor used that jab in his prime. And that used to break people down. So when that power does hit them, now they get stretched. But if you don't break them down, you can't just go out there and just hit them and step over them and go to the, to the Waffle House and with the waitress.
And you could see they both got one. They're just not using it like that.
Yeah. You have to condition that jab. Like it's always there, but you have to, put it in real situations. And what I always tell the guys that I train is that the jab can add 60 punches to a round that you weren't even going to throw. Like if you throw 60 jabs and then you throw 5 combinations, you're all of a sudden over at about 80 punches,
right?
Just like that. You know what I'm saying? So the jab can also, it helps you break down the opponent, it helps you control the distance, but it can also increase your output tremendously
and just help you fill space. And when there's with dead points in the round, that's what I felt like with Jermell that last fight. There was dead points in the round where it's like, bro, you could just be putting that out there, hitting him on the shoulder, hitting him on the elbow, just keep it moving. And it's like he just kept waiting. And I hopefully he learns from that experience and uses the jab a little more. Maybe he sees this and listens to Otis Griffin.
Listen to Ronnie. I'm sure. Hey, Ronnie's telling him, listen to Ronnie. You got the right man right there in the camp.
Right. Are there any matchups that you're looking forward to, or are there any matchups that haven't been made that you just keep waiting for them to get made?
Oh man, here's the matchup that you guys need to be on the lookout for, man. On September 17th, Michael Guy, get this, versus Jesse Hart in Philadelphia. This is a top 15 not light heavyweight, super middleweight fight. Whoever wins this fight is going to go on to fight for a world title. Jesse Hart's been there before, but Mike really has a chance to get back to the world stage again. So we're pulling for him definitely, but that's going to be a good fight. Both of these guys are going to come to fight. You got a Philly guy and you got a Sacramento guy. That's war.
Absolutely. Are you in camp with Mike?
Yeah, I'm in camp with him. Yeah, definitely.
That's great.
He's getting prepared. He's getting ready. Yeah.
Where can people watch that?
It's gonna be on. It's gonna be streamed. You can watch it on. It'll come up. I'll give you the link to put out.
What?
This,
if anything, what we'll do is after we get done with this, you send me whatever the promotion or the link is or whatever, and I'll make sure I'll put that in the description of the video. So
All right. All
To
right.
anybody listening, if you want to know where to see Guy versus Hart, I'm gonna make sure I got that link down below. Is there any other fights you're looking forward to? Any other fighters you're working with that you're excited about?
Oh, I'm excited about my fighter. Well, actually, Saifedean Mateen's fighter, the great Saifedean Mateen, out of Sacramento, is training a guy by the name of Slick Will. So you get Slick Will, Johnson, I believe his last name is, but Slick Will is out of Stockton, and he's at 140 pounds. So look out for him, man. He kind of looks like a left-handed Sugar Ray Robinson.
Slick Will?
Yeah, Slick Will.
Yo, everybody be on the look for fucking Slick Will, man. Well, dude, Otis, man, I can't thank you enough for taking some time during vacation to chop it up with me, bro. Seriously, I really appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah, man. We out here, man. Pismo
Living
Beach.
good, baby. You living good?
Yeah, Yeah. We're about to hit the beach right now. I got to take Melly down there, and put my feet in the sand. I got my sandals. I got them on already.
Well, enjoy yourself, bro. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can do this again soon. And let's do some commentary together soon, bro. Let's live stream some commentary.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Let's do it because I really enjoy talking boxing with you. It seems like I'm just sitting in my living room and talking. It's not like so much of a structure or anything. I love that about the bob and weave, the slip and weave podcast. Excuse me. Yeah. So.
Yeah, bro. We'll pick a fight and do some commentary together. And
all right, for sure. And I'll send you Mike and Hart's stuff too. Thanks again.
All right, Otis. We'll talk
soon. See you guys.
Peace, my brother.